to keep yourself on mute if you're not speaking, just in case there's kids, dogs, trucks, whatever in the background, and it won't get recorded. And then it makes it easier for you and everybody else to hear. We do have a hand raising app, I guess, symbol. And I don't know where it is on the bottom, but I know if you push 9*, it will come up. Because when we talk, when somebody's not finished, there's an overlap and then we get mixed up. So, or raise your hand just to let people know that you would like to add something, ask a question. There you go. There's one. Lou's got one. Okay. So we have some new people to introduce to us all. So who would like to get started? I see Maryellen. You're on mute.
There we go.
There we go.
Hello there, and thank you so much for allowing me to attend your meeting today. I am Maryellen Connor, a member and volunteer of vivavillage, like Suzanne. And I have recently taken over the outreach publicity team. So part of my goal is to learn more about what BCOA does and how we can perhaps collaborate more efficiently to serve the elders in our community. So I'm really looking forward to listening. There is one thought that I had that I wanted to throw out today, and that was October 1st, 2021 is the International Day of Older Persons. It was established in 1990 with a UN resolution to acknowledge the special concerns of older adults in our society, as well as to celebrate their contributions. So I was thinking maybe we could do something together, along with any other appropriate local organizations, and have an event. Maybe have a speaker, maybe do something cultural, something fun, just to acknowledge the importance of older adults in our society. So I want you to think about that, and maybe you'll come up with this genius idea that we can work on together. So that's why I'm here today.
Wonderful, welcome.
Thank you.
And Neel, please, we would love to hear from you as well.
Yes, hi guys, I'm Neel. I'm in 11th grade. I go to Westview High School. And today I'm going to just give a brief presentation about some work I do. I run this organization called PDX Concierge, where we basically do grocery delivery for the elderly, and I was going to go into that later. And I'm also attending as like an MYAB liaison. So yeah.
Great, welcome, glad to have you. Did I miss anybody? We're going to get to Beth later. Wonderful, so now we're going to approve our minutes from last month. So any feedback, corrections, additions? And thank you, Hilary, it was a great job, well done. John?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good, pretty thorough and comprehensive on the minutes for last month.
Great. So a move to accept?
I move we accept it.
Great.
A second.
Wonderful. So our minutes from the month of September have been accepted. Thank you.
I think that was October.
Oh, October. Thank you. I'm just a month behind.
Well, actually, though, you're not, because we actually needed to do both, because we
that's right, we had
didn't do
two.
September as well. So there were two. So
I didn't have that written down. My bad. Okay.
No, that's
so,
okay.
Yes, they are here. So now we did September and October. How about October minutes?
I move that they be accepted.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Second.
Wonderful, thank you. So our meeting minutes for September and October have been accepted. Well done. So now it is my pleasure to introduce to you Beth Gilbert, who is the Director of Adult Services at the library. I'm sure I have the title wrong, but she is a director. She is amazing. She has spearheaded and got set in motion our age and deaf cafes, which she has seamlessly moved to being online. She also invites people to a poetry time together. I don't know whether that's online or not, but I know she also helps us with writing. So she has writing times that blooming authors or existing authors can get together and work with her. So it is with great pleasure that I introduce you to Beth, who is coming to share with us about what's going on at the library during these times.
Thanks so much, Martha. I laughed when you said director because, man, that sounds like a great title, but I'm actually just an adult services librarian. And if it's relevant to you to know maybe that I'm also our programming team lead for adult programs. So programs, you could say events, but they're the things that we host, groups and presentations and all those sorts of things that we host through the library. And I do want to acknowledge that BCOA has been a wonderful partner to the library. Carley and Hilary and Suzanne and Martha, we all got together and we worked how to do a Death Cafe program, and we did a series of Death Cafes last year, and that series has been brought back this year, albeit Zoom. So all of our programs, all of our events with the library are currently being hosted through Zoom, with no idea of when we would transition to in person yet. Let me see. And then as Martha said, we also do the Age Cafe, but I'm not the only person at the library who hosts events or groups. You know, there's many of us who do that. So I wanted to share my screen so just so I can show you where you can find information about what's going on at the library. And I'm just bringing up our website. So is that visible? Is everyone great? So what makes it difficult sometimes to navigate the library online is that there's two different websites. There's the county website, which is called wccls.org, Washington County Cooperative Library Services. It is our umbrella organization that allows all the libraries in the county to share materials. But we all operate individually as libraries. So our library is actually run by the city at the city level, not by the county. And so, well, funding does come from the county. I should clarify that though. So the best place to go to see what's going on with our library right now is actually the Beaverton library.org, as opposed to that county website. Because this is where you're going to see current services, our events, and all that. And of course, it's constantly being updated because we are in flux. So what are we doing in person right now? We've got what we call BCL to go. That's a way for people to get the materials that they've placed on request. It's also, let's say you just happen to be by the library and you want to pick up some items. We offer book bundles. So there's a list of choices that you have in different reading genres and different media genres. So even if you haven't taken the steps to place items on request, you can still get materials. And so I'll click on that BCL to go. And this is where you're going to find all the information. So we've got drop-in hours at both locations. And then let's say you're someone who doesn't feel comfortable getting out of your car or being, in face-to-face with someone on our staff, then we've got the curbside appointments. That's where you can come in your car. It's touch-free. You can open your trunk, have your materials dropped inside. So drop-in no appointment needed, but if you want to use your car and use our curb, then you would schedule your appointment. We can also help you do this over the phone. So that's how we have been circulating materials for quite some time now, and that's how we're doing it right now. We also do have computer lab and wireless printing. So our computer lab hours are limited. They're just currently Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And again, you can make appointments for that ahead of time. You can also drop in to get an appointment, and that allows you to use the computer up to 30 minutes. You get to print 20 pages for free. And then wireless printing, that's something, I know I'm moving fast, I apologize, but I'll put my email in the chat so that if you have any follow-up questions for me. But if you just need something printed, you can do that too. We have wireless printing with different options, but again, that would require you to have access to your own device. So if you want to print from your phone or from a computer, you can do that, and then you could come during our BCL to go hours and pick up your print job. So that's the way that we're trying to serve people right now in person. There is intention to have our building open prior to the end of this year. The date I can't announce yet, but we're working very diligently to make that happen. And it's just, safety is the #1 issue. Can we open safely that minimizes risk and exposure to coronavirus? So I hope that we can announce that very, very soon. And I'm looking forward to that happening because the weather's getting cold, it's getting rainy, and just bringing in some of those, materials indoors will be helpful. But I should say it's not going to be like the library experience that it was prior to our closure. It's very much meant to be kind of the equivalent of going to a grocery store. You go in, you get your items, and you leave. There's not going to be any seating. There's no hanging out, really. Because again, we're just trying to minimize risk and minimize exposure. But so stay tuned for that announcement. I could point out, so we do have our event calendar. So I talked to you a little bit about the programs and events that we have coming up, and they're all listed here on this calendar. And if you were to click on it, for example, you can see the Zoom link is all right there. So for some of our programs, registration's recommended, but it's never required. And you always have access to that Zoom link. It works a little bit differently with our youth programs. There's an extra level of security, but for adult programs, whether you want to attend Death Cafe, Age Cafe, one of our book discussion groups, that Zoom link is always there and accessible to you. Through our website. I wanted to point out, so things, again, so I talked about on-site services, then the things you can go do from home. We have phone hours. We're available to answer your reference questions. We can help you place items on hold. We can help you find things. Whatever you need while our building is closed and you can't talk to us in person, you can call us on the phone. And we have that service available 7 days a week. BCL at home, that's just an umbrella thing for all the events that we have. We have YouTube, we're producing a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of online content, our social media presence that we've been really active with. So that's just a way for you to know what's going on that you can access from home. And then I do want to point out, so virtual browsing. One of the big things that people are missing right now is that they can't come in and view our collection and see what's available. So we've tried to kind of help out with that by posting monthly lists, whether that be for adults or kids in different genres, so that you can see what's new on our shelves and then use our catalog to place those requests. And then once you get notification that your items are on hold, that's when you can just use our drop-in hours, or if you need to use your car, you can book that appointment. So But again, that's another benefit that we are looking forward to when our building opens, is that you'll be able to browse our collection again and see what's on our shelves and check things out. But in the meantime, this is kind of the place to go to see what's new. So I guess really I want to just say that, you know, this is going to be your main tab that you want to go to find what's going on with us, is that current services tab, virtual events. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't mention one thing on the adults tab, and that is our One Book, One Beaverton event. This is an annual community reading event, and that's coming up in January. Except that, you know, normally we had everything in person. This time it's all going to be on Zoom, but we have a keynote speaker. We're encouraging everyone to read this book, and we're even giving away free copies of our book, of this book on Saturday, this Saturday. But if you can't make it, you come to one of our drop-in, you come to the library as a drop-in, and you can request this book as well while supplies last. So last year, the book was Call Me American, and this year the book was just Mercy by Brian Stevenson. And yeah, we've got some great programs going on that all have to do with this book. So we want all of Beaverton to participate, to read the same book, and then join us for our events to talk about it. So yeah, so that's a great place to go. Here's my email address. Oops, let me try again. I also want to say, if the BCOA, I know you guys are doing some events, and I'm so thrilled about that. And I've been advertising your events with, you know, with the people that I know and work with, you know, my people who are on my email lists who have signed up for past library events, to let them know about what you're doing. So please feel free to see the library as a resource for you and as a partner for you as you plan your own events. However we can help, we're happy to do so.
Beth, you have a couple of group chat questions.
Oh, great. Do I have to be in the library to print? No, you don't. So if you can follow the printing instructions that we have online, you can go ahead and print. And then what you would do is call us and say, I've just sent a print job. I want to come pick it up, you know, in 30 minutes, and we will retrieve your print job. We'll put it in the proper place that it needs to be. So then when you come to drop in, you just say, I've got a print job waiting for me. Here's my name, and our staff will bring it out to you. So that's the process. I didn't want to do the step-by-step process because unfortunately there's a number of steps, but those instructions are there. Once you do it, it's easy. It's just kind of explaining it. It overly complicates it.
Okay.
Yeah. So are the Zoom virtual events taped and uploaded on your site? And if yes, how do we get to it? Generally, no, we don't tape our events. I can tell you that our One Book, One Beaverton, certainly the keynote event is recorded and will be put up onto our website. I have some things in the works for some informational events that are going to happen in February, March, and April. One of the ones that I can tell you, one is on psilocybin and its use in the end of life. And we're going to have a great researcher from NYU do that presentation, and I would love to record that and make that available. So things like that, things that are more like an expert coming in and conveying information, we are trying to tape and post. But if it's just a discussion group or one of our writing groups, we do not record those.
Lou, you had a question?
Yeah, Beth, you mentioned you're planning on potentially opening up the library later this year. I guess that would be next month.
Yeah.
Would that affect the BCL to go the curbside pickup? Or are you going to continue to do that?
We're going to continue curbside pickup because we have to provide a no-touch system that has to be available there, you know, for people who for medical reasons can't come in to our library. They need to be able to have that no touch option, that curbside option. So that's always going to be available by appointment. But in terms of what we're hoping for is to kind of move people into using that drop-in service.
Yeah, I'm wondering, Beth, first of all, I really appreciate the curbside. I utilize it. It just makes me feel safer and happier, and I'm really grateful that you have that service. I'm wondering, you know, I don't know if you've noticed, but our case counts are skyrocketing at the moment. And I'm wondering, what do you tie your decision about opening the library to? Is it tied to some criteria that's based on what the governor has outlined? I mean, where are you guys just doing it your own thing, or because it seems concerning to me that it's never been worse than now, and you
and now we're talking about
library. Yeah,
and that's why I don't have a date, because that date is malleable. I mean, the last time we talked about opening was prior to the governor's orders to pause on, you know, social events. But I can tell you that it's not tied to cases. It's tied to our ability to reduce risk and still feel we can offer the services. So the factors are how many people are in the building, how long are they in the building, how many barriers are in place, masks, 6-foot distancing, all those things. That's what it's tied to, as opposed to case count. But I can tell you that this is an ongoing conversation amongst library management and staff, and a huge concern is case count. So that's, you know, and if that means that we don't feel we can do it in a minimized risk way, that date's going to change. So that's where we're at.
Lou, I'll just add to Beth's comment about the city in general. Has a task force assigned to looking at the reopening. There's the emergency declaration of the city, which is determining the work from home and like having staff work from home, obviously. You know, so the number of people who are working from home right now, and then as well as department heads. So it's all based on the governor's orders, and like Beth said, the safety, and each department has some differences, like the police is still functioning and in person. So it is department by department to a certain extent, because it depends on the job. So, there has been leadership, department heads and staff dedicated to being a specific task force looking at creating that guidance for like all the city operations under COVID.
Yeah. Thanks, Carly. That's great info.
Well, and then everybody gets to use the library and get their safety needs met.
Yeah, so that's why, you know, why curbside won't go away is that there always has to be an alternative to have that touch-free service has to be available. Same with using the computer lab. You can make medical exemption appointments so that you could use, you know, I think there's 4 persons that could be in a computer lab at once right now, but if you have a medical exemption, you could be the only one using the lab. We've set aside appointment for that too.
Wonderful. Bev, you had a question?
I did. I just wanted to go back and find out what the hours for picking up the book, and what was the name of it again?
Yeah, great question. We're calling it BCL to go. And it's happening both at Main and Murray Shoals. And for drop-in service, Tuesday, 10 to 4. Wednesday, 3 to 7. Friday.
Is that to pick up the book, Just Mercy?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's November. That's this Saturday.
Yeah, but if you can't make it on Saturday between 1 and 6, as long as we still have books, you can come on a different day.
Okay, do we need to come in to get them?
No, you would go to the front of the building.
Okay.
And request it. If you are not comfortable getting out of your car and going to the front of the building, make an appointment. for the curbside. And then when you show up for your curbside appointment, you can request the item. And this is just while supplies last. So yeah, Saturday would be the best because we are hoping to give out most of our books then.
Okay, 1 to 6. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions for Beth?
Yeah, this is John.
Okay, John.
I'm curious as to whether in the computer lab the keyboards are sanitized after we use it.
The protocol is that we clean the station before and after every use.
I say that because I know an industrial hygienist in Hong Kong that did some tests on keyboards and found that they were about the dirtiest things in around.
Yeah, we use like a 90% alcohol-based cleaner and clean the station before and after each person sits down.
Could I just make a comment? Beth, Suzanne, you are doing such a fabulous job at the library. I just, I miss you.
Oh.
One of these days I'll.
Yeah.
But I miss you.
I'm 100% with you, Suzanne. So Beth.
Martha,
Martha,
I think Sunita's got a hand, that little tiny blue hand is hard to see on the.
Okay, Sunita.
So I have a quick question, Beth.
Sorry.
So Beth, my question is, I had noticed that there was I think it was a library event that you guys had done on transportation. Do you know, and I can't find that email. I was wondering if I can find out who did that event, because I know that there is a big need in the community for transportation options and stuff. So I wanted to get that event kind of do it again kind of a thing. So do you know about that?
I don't know off the top of my head about a transportation program. Does that sound something like the city would have been involved in, Carley?
I couldn't remember, so I told her I wasn't sure.
I think it was for what are the transportation options that are available for the seniors. And I thought it was such a great thing. I was going to attend it, and then in all my emails, so many emails, I couldn't find that email again. So I was hoping that, and I think it was a library event. So if you can find something about it, let me know. If not, then.
Yeah, it doesn't sound familiar to me as a library event. So that's why I'm not sure about it. But I will certainly put some feelers out to see if I could find out where that happened.
That would be great. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I will do that.
You know, another resource for the transportation might have been the Downtown Beaverton Association, because they are figuring out ways to have a loop to connect all of downtown together. So Sunita, Kevin Teeter would be a good person. I can send you his email.
That would be great. Thank you, Martha.
You're welcome. So any other questions? I'm sorry I didn't see your little blue hand there.
No problem. That's okay.
So Beth, thank you so very much. Yeah,
thanks for inviting me. I do want to give a little plug for our events. What we're finding is people who are experiencing isolation or just going through difficult times, coming to some of our discussions like we have at Death Cafe or Age Cafe has been really impactful. So I'm very, very proud of that work. And I want to thank BCOA for helping create that foundation to do that work. And then Maryellen vivavillage as well. Yeah. Wonderful. So thank you.
Have a wonderful day, Beth, and thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. So Neel, it's your turn to share with us about your concierge program.
Oh yeah, sure. I'd love to share. So I'll just share my screen real quick. All right, can you guys see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so basically, like I mentioned earlier, I run the service along with some other high school students where it's called PDX Concierge, where we basically are doing grocery delivery to people who are like homebound or in need. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about it today. So our service is just targeted mostly to help the elderly, people who are like disabled or immunocompromised. And yeah, we run like on a volunteer basis by high school students like me and just some other people at various high schools. And when we shop for people, they just have to like reimburse us for the grocery bill, but otherwise there's like no additional costs. And like if the senior has like food stamps or something like that, we can also pick up like their EBT card and go to the store, or like if they need groceries without like a charge, we can go to the food bank and stuff like that. So yeah, our goal is mostly just to help people who are like homebound or who need like extra assistance with getting groceries delivered. And like so far we've done about 200 deliveries and we have like 30 volunteers or so. And so yeah, those who are interested in like getting the groceries delivered can place the order on our website. They can give me a call, send us an email, and I'll link all that information in the chat soon. And we serve, like right now we're serving Beaverton, Portland, and some more areas, so pretty flexible on like the location. And yeah, so we've done like this many deliveries and we have like 30 volunteers, but I think we do have the capacity to do more. So that's just why I was interested in presenting today. I thought you guys could probably just share this resource with anyone you know who could probably use the help. So like here's our website, you just like click here to place the order. And then like we also have this flyer here, which I'll link in the chat. Maybe you guys can like just through word of mouth or like giving some flyers to people you know who could use the service. And here are just some past pictures of like some deliveries we've done. It's been really fun to do all this work and just wanted to share it with you today. So yeah, I would be open to any questions anyone may have, and I will link the website and flyer in the Zoom.
Wow. What inspired you, Neel, to do this?
Yeah, so I guess like in the beginning of the pandemic, like closer to March and April, I kind of started helping out with my delivering to my grandma. She has asthma and she's older, so then I just thought there's probably plenty of other people who are in the same situation as her. So I just thought it'd be a cool idea to try to start this, and plenty of my friends were interested in helping too. So that's kind of how it all unfolded.
Wow, awesome. Neel, could you bring us back to our meeting faces?
Yeah,
I can't see everybody.
Oh, okay, there you go.
There, thank you. Any other questions for Neel? Yes, Beverly.
Hi, Neel, do you provide any other services to the aging population?
Yeah, I mean, we can like, yeah, I mean, we can do like groceries, or if they just want to like call us, I mean, we're here to, if anyone is like feels isolated or needs someone to talk to, we can do that. I mean, I'm sure we'd be flexible if they need anything, but yeah, we're flexible.
What about tech services?
Tax services?
Technology.
Oh, technology. Oh, yeah, we could definitely help with that. I'm sure all of our like high school volunteers are familiar with technology, and yeah, we'd love to help with that.
I'm sure you are. Thank you.
Hey, Neel. Oh, sorry.
Let's do Megan and then Lou.
Sorry, Lou. I was just wondering, you had mentioned that you were wanting to expand what you're doing in different areas. So I was just wondering, like, how far are you looking to expand, like, city-wise in the state of Oregon?
Yeah, so like right now we do Beaverton, Portland. We've done some in like Salem and Eugene as well. So I think we've expanded I forgot to mention that, but I think we've expanded pretty well. But yeah, I'd be open to expanding like however the demand comes to it.
And Lou.
Hey, yeah. Hey, Neel. Fantastic thing you're doing. It's just amazing. It just gives me hope. Hear stories like this. You mentioned, I just heard you piqued my interest on something. You mentioned that you, just briefly, that if people are lonely, they could call you. Are you guys doing has that happened? Have you had people just call just to talk?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely been people who like just need someone to talk to. So we're always there just to like give them support and just talk about what's going on. And yeah, we have gotten some calls for that. Yeah.
Yeah. The part of the job I do is I do social interaction with seniors as far as part of a research study, because to see how socially isolated seniors are affected by socialization. Anyways, when they roll off the study, it's one of the problems is they kind of feel sad, a lot of the folks, because they're used to talking. And so just wondering if maybe it's down the line you guys might be a resource we could send some of our seniors to. Yeah.
We'd love to talk to anyone, and yeah, we have a lot of volunteers, so yeah, we'd love to do that.
Oh, cool. Suzanne.
Raised my hand.
I saw it.
Yeah. We, Neel, we have an awful lot of people in this area who really need help with not only getting computers, but actually learning to work on them, because as you know, the older people, a lot of them didn't and never have worked on computers. And now that a lot of communication is so much computerized now, Zoom and et cetera, they really need to know. Would that be something that like we could at least call on you and see if you could develop a little program that would help, that people could actually help someone learn how to work a computer?
Yeah, we'd love to. If anyone needs like the technology help, they can always call, and we can.
They have to have it from the very beginning, because they don't know. They're older and they've been afraid of them, so they don't.
Yeah, we can go from like the beginning and just walk them.
Yeah. Just show them how really it's going to be a basic computer anyway. If we can get them computers, they'll be very, very basic. But to get onto Zoom and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That would be really valuable for them.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Sounds like you have a lot of things you might be able to do. You better start thinking about all these things,
Yeah, it doesn't have to just be like the groceries. You can help with those things also.
Yeah, sounds great.
Carley.
Thanks, Neel. You're doing such great work. I was just curious about how you're collecting your volunteers. Are you collaborating with just other high school connections, or how did that network of volunteers come to be or continue to grow?
So yeah, I just started with like a couple of friends, but then I think like later some I think newspapers or something featured us and what we were doing. So most of the volunteers have just come from people high school people who want to volunteer, who found out about it, and they just like followed our website and they signed up on their own. So that was pretty cool to see. And I've like networked to a few other schools, just like if we need some more for certain areas. But, yeah.
Wonderful. Yes, Maryellen.
Congratulations, Neel. That's wonderful work. I'm just curious how you handle the financial aspect of picking up the groceries. Is that in arrears or ahead of time, or?
So yeah, usually like the volunteers pay with like their own money beforehand, and then we just get like paid back with like a check or something from whoever is getting the groceries delivered. And I guess like in terms of like keeping track, we just have like a spreadsheet with like all the donations and like where that's going for like our gas expenses and stuff like that. And, yeah.
Oh, right. Right.
Thank you.
So I'm assuming you are a nonprofit or not-for-profit.
Yeah, we're not for profit. Yeah, not trying to make money. Just it's more like volunteer work.
Okay. Wow. Cool. Any other questions?
John Ratliff, I think that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Wow, stepping up. That's so, so awesome. So moving along, we're going to talk about how did our webinar series go? Our first one on Scandemic. Anybody have any reflections? I know some of you were there. Bev.
Well, I did not get to attend, unfortunately. I'm being consumed by Zoom meetings, it appears, and social activities. But anyway, Carley, I know that you said you were going to try and get that up because I did want to view it. And so I am anxious to see that, and I'm sure it was very good. So I look forward to being able to access it and making sure that my friends also, if they were unable to join, because I did send out quite a few emails with that information.
Yeah.
It's up. It's on the web on our BCOA homepage.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And Lou.
Oh, yeah, I was there. Ooh, that looked like an eyeball. Anyways. Sunita, that was weird.
That was my hand.
Oh.
There, see?
Oh, there you go.
Moving eyeball.
My heartbeat is slowing now. Yeah, it was great. It was just, I love Connie. She presented for us back in last year, November, and a lot of that material was familiar. But she had some nice updates, especially related to COVID. You know, she's sharp, she's personable. It wasn't too long, it wasn't too short. I thought it was, yeah, overall it was a good impression. It was a good job. I guess my only, you know, just to be honest, you know, and thoughtful feedback, didn't look like we had a huge participation. I mean, I counted 4 or 5 that I didn't recognize. It could have been some of the other folks here. So I don't know how many outside of our group we had, but I think it's good. I think we started with somebody we know and we have confidence in a good presentation, and then maybe we can build on that for the future, you know. So I thought it was a good first step overall.
Good. So you walked away being refreshed with what things you already knew and learned something in addition to that. Lou. Yeah, okay. Anybody else?
There's my hand.
Yeah, oh, I see.
So I was there, and I thought it was a very good webinar, but same as Lou, my feedback was also the same, that there were not enough participation. And I heard that from my friends too, who did join. And I just felt that, you know, we changed around our meeting so that we would not conflict with others, but I didn't see those organizations coming out and attending this. Like vivavillage, we said, okay, because they're having their Aging with Grace on a weekend, let's not do it on the weekend. But nobody showed up from vivavillage either. So that was kind of disappointing, because BCOA did put in enough time and effort into bringing this good webinar, and I felt like there could have been more people who could have benefited from it.
Definitely.
So that's my feedback.
Definitely. Yes, Sophie.
Yeah, I think I have similar feedback. I think, it's hard to nail down a proper date that actually works for everybody really well. And I almost wonder, if it's really tough to locate people during this time. So I wanted to just try to be positive and say that because we recorded it, because it is online, we can still use that information, which is really great. And other feedback that I had was I liked the length of it. It just perfectly hit where I was getting a little tired of sitting on a Zoom call. So I thought, you know what, this was really good. And I like the fact that when we asked questions, we stopped recording and people were able to really ask questions and dive in and be ourselves a little bit, not worry about being recorded. I like that aspect a little bit more.
Yeah. I also think there's a reality when you start something new and introduce something new, it takes a while for it to catch on, and it's word by mouth, by mouth, by mouth, by mouth. So I'm with you. Suzanne.
Yes, I was going to say, although I was not there, I did try to come on, and whereupon my computer, you know, proceeded to freeze, and I had to have the geek squad. But anyway, I think at least a part of my thing is that as long as it's done, we made a copy of it, it's posted, we can just keep mentioning it and say, you know, this information is there. You can go right on the website. Here's how, and get this information off. So it isn't that, you know, it has to be that the people have to be there at that particular thing. It'll be helpful to have the copy of it and have people be able to listen at any time. I think that'd be really, really helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah.
They'll hear about it.
And again, it's something new, so we have to keep reminding people.
Yeah.
And I totally agree. I think that as we have come to a state of having so many Zoom meetings, like I have at least 4 that I have yet to view. And that's because I have so many coming in, and I do some things, activities. I do once in a while try and clean my house. I have to, you know, I can't do everything at once. Oh, excuse me. I should have stayed muted, huh? Anyhow, I think that that's one of the benefits, and advertising that it is online and people can do it, view it whenever they want. Because like I say, I think I have no less than 4 that are waiting for me. So I'm going to get off because I have a son trying to call me. So anyhow, I think it's great, and people know it, and we can say, don't forget this is online. You can see it whenever you want.
Perfect. Hilary.
I'm taking notes and doing all these things. Right now I'm on Beaverton, so it's on our webpage, right, Carley? You're saying that it's on the Beaverton committee, so it's on the boards. Is that where it is?
On the BCOA?
Yeah. I'll put a link to it in the chat.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Hey, yes, Sky. Hi, you're on mute.
Mute. Okay. Sorry. So sorry.
Right.
So my question is, was it? I don't know what verbiage I want to use. Not streamed, but has it gone out through social media? The recorded event to view? Like on yet. The cities. Okay.
The recorded session has not been sent out afterwards. There was some promotion. I mean, frankly, it's a little bit challenging to get all of this promoted right now. The city's limiting the social media to very, I don't know, the pandemic and then the election really took over a lot of the social media stuff. So spots, but we did have some promotion, and we more specifically targeted like sending it out to the library listserv and sending it like more, it was more of a targeted outreach to like the different groups and different listservs. And it's unfortunate that we didn't get that many people, but also I think like some of our other people said, we can continue to send that link out to watch it. Hopefully that will get a few more views.
Well, I just wonder if in the future, if it seems appropriate to reintroduce this one or one of the other ones. I wonder if it'd be possible for Martha or someone associated with that specific speaker event to do a little intro stating something along the lines of, you know, because of this recent scam activity that has started now in February, we want to reintroduce this amazing speaker, and hopefully people can learn from some of the information, and then it gets sent out through more mass.
Yeah, I think that's great, Sky. We could definitely do that. And like, I think that I can put it on the radar to be like, when the marketing team sees like a good time to send that out, there's really like no bad time to send that information out. It's really, you know, like it's going to be relevant for people, especially like during the holiday season. It might be a post that can go out to say like, you know, as we, you know, do more purchasing and things like this, be aware, and something like that. You do that.
And John.
Yes, I'm president of the Chinese Scientists, Engineers, and Professionals Association, but since the pandemic, we haven't met. However, I have a mailing list of some 90 to 95 people, and I'm probably going to be sending this link out to them so that they can see it. So I think it, you know, I did participate. I got a lot out of it. I enjoyed it. And those 3 flyers too are going to be helpful for everybody, I think, that was sent out after the meeting. But I'm going to send the link out to a number of people here shortly.
Good. Remember, you can send out to a lot of people. Send it to yourself, then press BCC, which I didn't even know existed, but it's there. And you can put anybody on there and it just goes to them. So you're not, and you send to people and saying, you may not need this, but somebody you know might, so pass it on. So that's a good way to network now.
Yeah, the other thing about blind carbon copy is that people don't see who it's been sent to. So you don't have anybody's email except the person that's there.
It's very private.
And yeah, that helps out in privacy.
Yeah. Hilary.
I just wanted to share that Nextdoor is also, you know, people post, I posted on Nextdoor, and, you know, there's lots of groups that we belong to and email lists, but sometimes email gets a little overwhelming.
Yes.
There's so much of it, but posting it on a community site like Nextdoor, it just goes on the calendar. And then, you know, people who might not be in my little world might see something.
There you go.
So I think that's effective.
Well, I think what's really exciting about this project is we're learning a lot. We're learning all the different ways that we can now advertise, market them for our next event. And the word is getting out there. So this is good. We're on the right track. So any other feedback, comments about our first Scandemic webinar? Wonderful. I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot. So now we're going to cover any announcements about what's going on in the community that would help us live a healthier, happier, safer life. Well, I want to say that down on First, between Watson and Washington, it's now been weatherized. So if you're needing to get out for a coffee, a glass of wine, some beer, a snack, it's a place to go and be outside, be able to physically distance and be outside and be warm. Just bring I just bundle up and bring a blanket, and it's a really fun place. And you get to like get some fresh air. Any other events that are coming up?
There's that one you put out. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
Okay. There's that one that you sent out about the vital aging, one that AARP is doing.
Yes.
And I was talking to one of the women from AARP last night, and she encouraged me very much to sign up. So I was looking at it.
Yeah.
And it has some really interesting things in it, and people do take a look. It's the Vital Aging, it's AARP, and I'm sure the Vital Aging Conference will be under there. They're not just an association for retired people anymore, they're for anybody who feels like they're old. So that of course suits me.
It's on Thursday, November 19th.
Yeah, it's 3 days.
A Guide to Family Communication on Aging. So come to one, some, or all of it.
Yeah, you don't have to do all of them.
No.
I mean, it's just something that and they're not long or anything like that, or probably, you know, they just are good information.
It's an hour. I believe it's 1 hour.
Yeah.
Yes, John.
Yeah, as of Saturday, it looks like we've got a president-elect who's going to be showing how the vigors of aging populations here. You know, it's going to be quite interesting to see how this goes off, not politically, but from an aging perspective, how somebody with the experience of Biden and the age of Biden is going to be doing on this. It's going to be a wake-up call for a lot of people that older folks can still contribute a lot.
Amen on that one.
Yep, I'm with you.
And he takes care of himself too, and he has
Yes,
a wonderful family.
Yeah.
I'll get off my soapbox. So anyway, any other comments about the Age Cafe is still going, Deaf Cafe is still going. We're doing everything up till the end of December. So that's on the calendar at BCOA and the library. There's 3 conversations. I'll let Carley talk about that. Yes, John.
Yeah, just from my perspective, having that email come in the day of the event really helped getting me to it.
Okay. Well, you know, we do have to be our own managers of our calendars.
But sending out a reminder, totally happy to send out reminders, as I know that I similarly, like, even with having something on the calendar, having that day of, happy to send that out for the next one too. I can't tell Sunita's if that's from earlier or if there's a comment there too.
Oh, I don't check chat while I'm in meeting.
I need to take that hand out. Sorry about that. I need to unraise my hand.
I do want to say something about how we manage our calendars. We all have some way that we do that. We either have a phone or a paper calendar. Put things in it. That's what it's there for. That's what I tell my students all the time. I'll remember that. I said, well, you probably won't, but if you do, great. But write it down somewhere so you can get in the habit of looking at your calendar every day so you know what you're going to be doing, or you can choose what you want to do that day. But if you don't have anything on it, you can't make any choices. So use your calendars. It's very simple, it's safe, it's even a piece of paper a day to help you figure out what you're going to do. Okay, anybody else that I missed?
You got to get those high schoolers in line, Martha.
Got to get those high schoolers in line. We're all high schoolers. You know, we're in high school now with the COVID. We're in high school now with learning how to live.
We are learning a new way.
Very differently. And we never stop learning. We're just forever learners. So anyway, Mark is not here today, but Carley is. So, city update.
Okie dokie. All right, city update here. Let's see here. What do I got? What do I have for you all? Oh, she sent this message before the election, but we all know that the election has happened. So, and we all know that there's going to be a new mayor. I think that news has reached everybody at this point. So there's going to be a lot of changes through the city government because we'll have some new positions on the council and a new mayor, and then they'll be filling Lacey Beatty's seat. And I don't actually know the process for that yet. So I can't tell you a little bit about that yet, but I will as soon as I know more about what that looks like. The remote, virtual, and on-site services has been extended for city services. Almost everything is remote or phone or online. Like I was saying earlier, like it depends on the program and or the service. So some things are by appointment, like passports are by appointment, and the library, as you just learned about, and versus like our program is completely remote. We're not doing any in person. So it just depends on the program and the type of service that you want. You have to just look on the website to see or call and find that. There's reminders in here about helping to reduce the exposure to COVID, which we have covered. And there was a library reminder as well about so a lot of these updates were things we've already talked about today. So about the by appointment services for the library. Utility bill assistance is available. And so there is, if you're a resident of Beaverton, you can get help with paying water, sewer, waste collection, and other utility balances from March 1st through December 30th. So if you know of anybody that needs that kind of assistance, and that's through Community Action. I'll put the links in there. So in addition to that, the other one that I want to mention that's here is that emergency rental assistance is ongoing. There's been $700,000 has already been spent on emergency rental assistance here in the community. And there's another remaining $300,000 for the rest of the year for low-income renters. And so I actually was in a conversation with our housing folks who work with Community Action. Community Action is the group that distributes the money for Washington County if you need rental assistance. And they have enough money for, I mean, they just have a problem getting that money out fast enough, but the money is there if you need help with rent right now, still available for people. And they can cover like, I think 3 months rent, back rent and your current rent that's overdue. So the money is available for anybody in Washington County that needs it for that rental assistance right now. I think that's not very well known, but we were just having a conversation that it is available. It's just hard to get an appointment. Right now, their phones open at 9 a.m. and by 9:30, all of their time slot appointments for the day are filled. So that problem is getting an appointment to then have the conversation to be able to get that rental assistance, but the money is there and available as soon as you can get an appointment and get started to work into their system.
Are there any hints about how to get into an appointment sooner?
Call at 9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Be the first caller of the day.
Okay.
That's the advice that I've been told is to call. If you get a busy signal, call again. Okay. And then if you don't get through in that day, then call back the next day. Sophie?
Yeah, just quick question. Do you know, because I know like with the population that I work with, they have very restricted income, but they do receive like benefits. Do you know if that, like Social Security and stuff like that, do you know if that has any play in allowing them to get the assistance or?
I just know that I think that the money is reserved for low income renters. And so then I think that if their income is coming from Social Security, and that probably would fall into that category of low income. But it would probably take a call to the Community Action folks to find out like if there's any restrictions. And actually, if you have a question about the restrictions or like limitations to this, I would call the city housing team. There's a hotline. They made like a landlord-tenant hotline, and you leave a message, but that team is great, and they will call you back and give you an answer, and it will be faster than trying to get through to the overly impacted Washington County's Community Action program right now that's dealing with the actual distribution of all of it. So they're really, so call the hotline for the city and you'll get an answer like the next day. So, I mean, they've been really fast at responding to people. So yeah, help get that word out there if you know of anybody in that circumstances. Right now, this isn't on my list, but I think it's an important update to know of, the moratorium is still going on. The city has their eviction moratorium, as most cities do, and then there's the statewide one as well. So there's, you can't go through in most cases, like there are some exceptions. You can't evict anybody right now due to non-payment of rent. And so once that lifts, though, we are looking at situations where if people haven't been paying their rent and then that's lifted, then, we may have a lot of people who will be facing losing their housing, and how to try to navigate and prevent that. So it's one of these things. Can I get the word out?
Yeah.
Those are my update. John?
Yeah, I'm curious on, it looks like City of Beaverton is dealing with homelessness a whole lot differently from City of Portland, just based on number. And I'm kind of curious as to your perspective on that. I
mean, I don't know all of the ways in which like the city I mean, I can't speak to Portland, right? I mean, I can speak to Beaverton and how they're handling things. We have a few different things. One, there's the safe parking program, which is going to continue, which is going to open up a few more sites, which you may be familiar with the safe parking concept, which was essentially working with Just Compassion, which is a nonprofit organization. So it's not just like anybody can drive in, park their car, but rather they have to be registered through the nonprofit to be able to then take one of a few designated parking spaces if they're living in their car. So it's like, it's very, you know, you have to go through the program, you have to be a participant through them, and then you get assigned a spot. And so like a few churches around Beaverton have participated in allowing for like 3 spots in their lot. And there's bathroom, porta potties provided on site for those folks. So there's like that program that's been going and expanding a little bit this year. Then there's also the cold weather shelter has been expanded for this year, and it's by reservation only. So it's no longer going to be a walk-in first serve, but because of COVID, they have expanded the hours and time for that to be available to people, as well as making it like you get a spot designated to you. So you reserve that spot, and then they've made it, you know, they've taken precautions of the spacing, and they're only using paid staff, no longer using volunteers for that program because of the risk to volunteers. So the city and Just Compassion have hired staff to operate that program. Yeah, and there was also an issue of like the majority of the volunteers at the shelter were older volunteers, and there was a not wanting to, you know, put people at risk to do that work. So those have been some of the approaches to working with the homeless population. I mean, then there's other programs depending on, you know, working with families and youth homelessness. So there's a couple programs addressing that. The Second Home program, which is like the match, it's not a city program, but we partner with them to provide the matching with, you know, youth who are experiencing homelessness with a volunteer home provider. So unaccompanied youth who are over 16, who are, you know, couch surfing and or, you know, experiencing homelessness, to be able to match with a volunteer home provider to take them in. So that's another program, a small program. So these are some of the things that are going on here in the city, and there may be some more. There is some money dedicated to being able to help people, you know, who are experiencing homelessness in different kinds of circumstances. So that's just a few. I'm probably missing something, John. There's probably a few other things that are being done as well, but those are the ones that immediately come to my mind about what Beaverton's doing.
Yeah, I know from my work with the Bicycle Advisory Committee that the mountain bike patrols from the police department are, they do a lot of contact work with that, with homeless people.
Yeah, and you know, homelessness is a very broad topic. So the bike patrol does work with, you know, some folks, like, you know, there's chronically homeless folks who are kind of in one need, have some certain set of needs, versus folks who have lost their housing, and they're a family who's like just struggling and they've lost their housing, but like with some support will be back in housing. You know, so very different needs for folks depending on, you know, where they're at when they're experiencing homelessness, versus young people who may have different needs altogether. So yeah, the bike patrol does do a lot of that first contact with folks who are camping and or in their cars, that sort of thing as well. And they have resources that the bike patrol have some resources to be able to give to people. Not everything, but they have some. We've partnered with a lot of other social organizations to be able to, you know, have things like gift cards for food and, you know, some hotel money, that sort of thing as well. Hilary, were you going to ask a question? Oh, okay. I saw you raising your hand.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty. You know, being homeless and a pandemic is quite intense.
Yeah.
And another thing that related to COVID, there's been a few hotels around town that there's been provided. I think that this may have come up earlier, but to provide rooms for isolation when people have tested positive and need a place to isolate away from everybody else. Then there's been, because the hotel business has been down there, and I can't remember which ones there are in Beaverton, but there are a couple that have been providing that, like you can isolate in a room here because you can't be around other people, kind of service. So I think there's been some that, and I'm not sure who's paying for some of that. If people, I'm not sure exactly how that all works, but I know that that's been happening.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Carley, could you also just refresh our memories about the 3 talks that are happening in December?
Sure.
Mondays?
Yeah, that I'm happy to talk about. So it's a series, so we encourage people to sign up for all 3, December 7th, 14th, and 21st, 9 to 12. It's a workshop, and it's I can't remember what the title is exactly. It's related to dialogue though. And do you have the title there, Bartha, in front of you?
I didn't write it. I just put it. Let me see.
It's okay.
Keep talking.
Anyways, and I'm really excited about this. One of our new staff members is running it, and she's going to be, you know, helping people think through and practice how to have more constructive dialogue with people that have different views. I mean, this was started with originally with the idea of like how to have people who have very different political views come together and be able to still have any kind of dialogue in a time where it feels like we're so polarized. But then we decided that, you know, really it's beyond just like politics. This is just something that, like, you know, it's hard for people to do when we, you know, have a particular viewpoint. How do we still engage? And I know that she has some exercises planned for this, like having people, you know, talk about like somebody might have a particular view, asking them to talk about like, what do people assume about you from your perspective? Like let's just say, as an example, you identify as a liberal. So might ask, say, like, as a liberal, how do you think that people critique your side, and how do you experience that? And asking people to sort of like self-reflect and share that back. And some exercises in sort of like having people do some self-examination, and also like practicing engaging in a way that's not debate. So thinking about it differently. So if you're interested, I think it's going to be really great. We have like 50 people who've already signed up for it. So it's going to be a big workshop where we have like some big group, and then a lot of the breakout rooms where you're just with a couple people talking things through and practicing. So it should be fun and interactive.
Yeah, it's called Community Dialogue Workshop.
Oh yeah, it's a very simple title. It's something very simple. Yeah.
Great. For bringing us 8. Any other good for the order? Yes.
Hilary, is that?
Oh no.
Oh no, it's okay. Your hand is like on the side. It's like right here on the camera.
She's preventing carpal tunnel syndrome.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Well, I just want to say, you know, we have one more meeting left for the year, and then in January we'll have some new folks joining us. So we're going to have a few new members starting in January. So Martha, did you want to ask about just doing the December meeting? Is that something we were going to talk about?
Carley and I have been talking about whether we should just have our meeting in December and figure out, do we celebrate and say goodbye to people who are leaving, or just gather together and have a social time? What are people's ideas?
Gather virtually.
Yes. I just assumed that.
I think it would be nice.
Anything, right? Hilary.
Well, I know that just for some people might not know this, but in years past, what we've always done is Carley has always treated us to, you know, fabulous snacks and cocktails or whatever, you know, we've always gone out. So it's been a social thing. really nice and sort of close the year. And it's just, it has been a lovely tradition.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to do that virtually or not. But it's a great question, Carly. And the date is the December 8th. Yes.
So Sunita, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I thought it would be nice, people who have been with the group for such a long time, maybe just talk about them or what they have done and honor them in any way we can. Yeah.
I'm with you. And Sophie?
Yeah, I've done a couple kind of Zoom happy hours, and those actually work really, really well. They're really fun too, but the idea is to maybe get a little pack together, like maybe like a seltzer and maybe some limes and a beer or something small, a little pack, and then to deliver. And for those who don't drink, it would be something more fun, like a Izzy or something like that. And then we could deliver it to people's homes, leave it at their door, or place of work, I don't know. And then we could all meet at the same time and cheers at the same time. I don't know. Then we could still feel spoiled. Maybe like a little box of chocolates for each of us. I don't know. I made all that up.
Okay, great ideas. How about you, Sky?
Oh, I was going to say, since I'm one of the people this is addressing, and Sophie, I feel like you really hit it by saying spoil. I am willing personally to sit in my garage in a lawn chair, having a drink while you all drive by like a parade. A lot of high school students do something like that, sans alcohol. Just want to put that out there. I'm happy to take one for the team in that way. But if we are going to do something like baskets or delivery, I'm very happy to help with assembling and drop off. I have a great deal of baskets in my garage from past school auctions and can get to many things. And any member who I've known from last year or longer, chances are I know your beverage of choice, whether it's white, red, rosé. So you can make it really nice and personalized.
Well, I just want to run a quick question for you all, and you all can send this individually. I have everybody's addresses, I believe, but I also don't want to like encroach on like that using your address without permission. So if anybody has any discomfort over something being delivered to your house, you can just let me know individually. I can, leave it at City Hall if anybody's, not comfortable. Otherwise, I'll just assume that is okay if we do something, if we scheme and do something like this.
Scheme and plot.
Clean plot. But I'm happy to if somebody would rather just grab something at City Hall, but themselves, I'm fine with that too. No pressure. I just don't want to assume that everybody's okay with me sneaking up your driveway and leaving you something, right? Or Martha or Scott,
or somebody else.
Let me know.
And John?
Yeah, I'm okay with that, but I had a question for you as to whether your thought about carpal tunnel syndrome was a proposal for a workshop or something, because I've done a lot of that type of work in my industrial hygiene studies.
Me? Oh, it was a joke for Hilary.
That's kind of what I thought, but I wanted to make sure.
Thank you for checking in. Sometimes it's hard to know what's a joke and what's, you know what I mean. Thank you. Well, thank you everybody for a wonderful, delightful, enlightening meeting. And any other good for the order before we sign off? And we need I always forget the language. Somebody needs to offer to close the meeting.
I so move.
I so move. And a second?
I second.
Thank you. Wonderful. And Carly and I will be in touch. Stay healthy and breathe deeply.
Right.
Bye.
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 And I'm putting the communication workshops on my calendar.
Good. Come in.
Nice to see you all.
Bye-bye.
Sky, wait here for a second.
So Carly, I'll talk to you later.
Have a good time. Bye-bye. Stay safe.